May all your wishes come true. We've all heard that saying. But why is it that so many of our own wishes just fall flat? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a simple 3-step guide to turn what you're thinking into what you actually get. So let's dive right in. We've all been there, right? You've got this big goal, this dream you're chasing, but then reality just kind of gets in the way. It's that super common frustration of putting all this energy out into the world, only for it to fizzle out. So what's really going on here? Why does this happen so often? And we're not talking about some abstract, far-off stuff. We're talking about the everyday things. You might think, man, I really want to win the lottery, or I've got to lose some weight, or I definitely deserve a raise, and then nothing. These failed wishes can make you feel completely stuck, but I promise there's a way to change that outcome. And here it is. There's a blueprint for turning things around. See, the real problem with just wishful thinking is that it usually doesn't have a plan. So today, we're going to walk through 3 key steps: clarifying what you want, taking real action, and staying positive through the bumps, leaving you with a final blueprint for your own success. All right, let's jump into the first and honestly the most fundamental step. You have to clarify your desire. This isn't about vaguely wanting something. It's about being able to loudly and clearly proclaim, This is what I want. And here's the thing. Clarity is basically your superpower here. Think about it. If your goals are all fuzzy and contradictory, your focus is split. You're sending mixed signals, and guess what? You get mixed or failed results back. But a crystal clear wish, that directs all your energy toward one single powerful outcome. Okay, so for a wish to actually work, it needs to follow 2 golden rules. First, it has to be realistic, achievable in the real world. And second, and this one is huge, it must be controllable by you. This is exactly why winning the lottery is such a classic failed wish. It depends entirely on pure chance, not on your own actions. So what does a powerful, really well-defined wish look like in action? Well, let's take a look at the incredible story of Janet Hui, a true globetrotter. So get this, Janet was on a very traditional path to become a doctor, but since she was 16, she held on to this one super clear wish to travel the world, no matter what. That desire was so powerful and so specific that it gave her the focus to leave a prestigious career behind and just go for it. The result? By the time she was 28 years old, she had already visited 38 countries. That's clarity in action. Now for step 2, and let's be real, this is where a lot of us get stuck. You've got the clear wish, but now you actually have to do something. You have to take that decisive action and bravely step out of your comfort zone. Having a clear wish is one thing, but actually executing on it, man, that's the biggest hurdle, isn't it? But here's a powerful way to overcome that inertia. Constantly visualize your success. Really picture what it feels like to have already achieved your wish. That vision becomes the fuel that motivates you to act. Now, if you want an absolutely stunning example of pure execution power, we have to talk about the story of Huang Guigan. She went from being a traditional homemaker to an academic scholar, and her story is just wow. So, to inspire her own children to go to medical school, Huang Guigan decided to lead by example. At 50 years old, she set a clear goal for herself. She would get in. She created this total immersion study environment for herself, and after just 1 year of intense preparation, she passed the exams. And this wasn't some passive, casual thing. Her execution was relentless. Her study notes literally covered everything: the fridge, the shoe cabinet, even the kitchen range hood so she could study while she was cooking. Now that is what unstoppable execution looks like. Okay, so you have your clear wish and you're taking action. Fantastic. But the path to success is never, ever a straight line. And that brings us to our final crucial step: navigating all those inevitable bumps in the road with positivity. The research on this is pretty stark. When faced with a setback, a whopping 90% of people fall into negative emotions. Only a resilient 10% manage to face the challenge with a positive mindset. Your goal is to train yourself to be in that 10%. And here's why this is so important. When you focus on doubt and negativity, you're basically priming yourself to notice more negative things, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. This downward spiral can completely derail your entire journey, often right before you get to the finish line. Let's look at our final case study, Li Qiqian. This guy faced a complete business collapse and engineered a dramatic turnaround, and it was all fueled by his mindset. I mean, Li Qijian's company was in a total freefall. He lost his main product, cash was pouring out, and his staff were getting poached. It was a crisis. But crucially, before taking any big action, he focused on adjusting his own mindset. By refusing to accept the negativity, he was able to see a new path forward, secure new products, and grow his revenue from 0 to 500 million. So we've seen the theory and we've heard these amazing real-world examples. Now let's bring it all together into one simple blueprint that you can start using today. This is it, the success trilogy. First, you clarify your wish so it's realistic and something you can actually control. Second, you execute by visualizing that success and taking bold, decisive action. And third, you persevere. When you hit an obstacle, you make the choice to be in that resilient 10% and navigate it with a positive mindset. So there you have it, a practical guide, not just a vague theory. The only question left is, with this blueprint now in your hands, what is the very first wish that you are going to make come true?